All right, ladies and gents, guys and gals, Jess Fergali. Today we're gonna be talking about your team, not your football team, not your hockey team, not whichever team you play with on the weekends. We're talking about your real estate team. 4 essential main characters. Carlos, roll the introduzione. All right, I could probably make a video with 20 to 30 different team members, but today we're gonna be talking about the 4 main team members prior to looking for a deal. I think a lot of people out there, a lot of people watching this are probably in the pre-deal stage, or they have a deal kind of close in sight that they're looking at, and you don't wanna know what team members are gonna be crucial to make sure that you can acquire and you're successful through acquisition. All right, team member number 1, this one kind of seems like a no-brainer. It is your CPA/tax expert. Reason I'm splitting the D between a tax expert and an accountant is a lot of times when you're looking for expertise in taxes, you'll have an accountant, but then an accountant will have some sort of thing that they see you doing with a deal structure, and they'll tell you to go to a tax attorney. So one or the other, sometimes it's a specialist in both, but basically it's somebody that has an expertise in tax and the law. Now, I see a lot of investors out there that the only time they talk to an accountant or they get any tax advice is when they're literally doing their tax return, or maybe they're doing their articles of incorporation, or perhaps they're entering a partnership. And that's great, but you should really start looking a lot earlier in the process, because these team members can be crucial to your success financially and legally when it comes to liability. 3 main areas that I think they can help when it comes to your pre-deal outlook is, number 1, they can organize a business. If you're incorporating, whether you're doing an LLC or you're doing a corporation or you're doing a partnership, they are the member that will be able to look at the legal and tax consequences of the structure that you choose for the type of asset that you have in place. Number 2, they can help advise on the strategy that you're going to use when it comes to actually finding that asset, whether that comes into depreciation and amortization schedules, or it comes into further down the road when you are looking to do a refinance or a 1031 exchange. We want to look at those things pre-deal with the expertise at that stage to figure out what your 5-term goal is, your 10-term goal is, what your long-term vision is with the asset itself. And speaking of those long-term goals, that's the last point. They can really help with that long-term planning. And that comes in the form of whether this is the only property you're gonna have. Are you gonna buy more properties? Are you gonna refinance this property to buy other properties? Or perhaps, like I said before, do a 1031 exchange and be able to parlay that into other investments. This is all in the domain of that tax expert. So they're number 1. Number 2, a real estate agent. Now, I might be a little biased and it might sound like I'm selling you because I am an agent. I'm not selling you. The reality is, even myself as an agent, I still hire agents when it comes to finding property. I have a very specific expertise in what I do. I like to think it's an expertise, but I'm in commercial real estate in the office area, okay? So when I'm looking for multifamily properties, single family, condos, whatever it is, if it's not in the area that I'm an expert in, I'm gonna hire out another advisor. And quite frankly, even if I was looking for office buildings, smaller office buildings or retail plazas, I probably still would hire an advisor, because they're gonna have the ability to look at a market that perhaps I don't work in, and they're gonna be able to know who's in that market, where deals are trading. They're gonna be your advisors. And good agents are, worth their weight in gold when you can find them, because if you build credibility with them, you are gonna be on that short list of pocket listings that they send you first. So how do these cats help you? Well, number 1, they're gonna give you market knowledge for an area. As I mentioned, they're gonna be the experts in real estate in a particular area, and perhaps even a particular domain. Most people on the commercial side will specialize directly in one type of area in commercial. Number 2, they're gonna help you find deals. You want these guys or gals to actually find deals for you. That's the whole point of hiring these individuals. You wanna make sure that you can see all the deals in an area and you don't miss anything, especially today where the market for a lot of major markets in North America are just insanely tight with low vacancy. Lastly, one area that people may not think about your agent helping you is that they're a great conduit to other professionals. I mean, agents will help you out with lenders, they'll help you find mortgage brokers, they'll help you find inspectors, contractors. They know their business and they're dialed in their area and their expertise. They will be able to send you to all kinds of other individuals that have expertise in other areas that will probably benefit you along your investing career. All right, now I'm sure every person person out there has either got a cold call or a cold email from a mortgage broker, and they're persistent, but there's a lot of really good brokers out there. Now, the first thing people ask me when I mention a mortgage broker is they ask about the cost, and they also ask, why don't they just go to the bank themselves? Because the mortgage broker, oftentimes, it is that middleman between the bank and yourself. However, you can go to the bank directly, but the one thing they will do is they'll be able to shop multiple deals. So if you look at, 10 different banks, they'll be able to do that, and that's part of their business. A lot of times what they'll have is what's called an origination fee. It's typically 1%, although it's on a sliding scale, and that origination fee is typically paid at closing. Now, if you're looking for mortgage brokers, like I said before, if you got a good real estate agent, ask them for recommendations and see if you can find somebody. And when you think about that origination fee, you'd be surprised over a 25 or 30-year amortization, they save you 15 or 20 basis points, which is 15 hundredths of a percent or 20 hundredths of a percent. That differential a lot of times will actually cover their fee completely and then some. So just keep that in mind. What they can help you with, the 3 bullet points for me: secure debt, shop around to different providers, different lenders. And then lastly, if they're a good mortgage broker, they're gonna be able to talk to you about what you'll need to secure the debt. So what kind of income, what kind of cap rate, and also they'll have some sense of an outlook that if, say, 3 years from now you wanna do a refi, or 5 years, you go back to them and use them for that refinance, cash out refinance, if you're looking to pull money out of the property and put it in another asset. Okay, best for last. This is what I call the sleeper on your team. This is the property manager. Oh my God, how many times I've talked about property managers and how beneficial they can be to people, and they don't understand why they would need them pre-deal. Property managers, good ones, they are your local experts. They are literally your boots on the ground in a given area. So if you're looking in a certain area, say outside of New York, that property manager will know the type of tenants, they'll know the buildings, and yeah, you're gonna do all this due diligence anyways, as you should if you're gonna invest in an area, but they will give you those little kernels of information that you don't get by just looking at a spreadsheet. I've had it multiple times where we've looked at property managers and we've talked to them and we've shown them the rent that we think that we can get for a property, and they'll tell you right away, no, you can't get that, yes, you can get this. So they are fantastic, fantastic team members. 4 things that I think that they can help you with. Number 1, like I said, they'll be able to help you estimate market rents. They have seen the buildings, like they say, real estate's local, local, local. They know the particular building in a particular area, why it gets $200 more than a different building. Number 2, they know the building and tenant history of a given area. If you have a property manager that has 100 properties in one area that they manage, or 50 properties, they know the tenant profile, they know the history, they also know the professional tenants that have usually jumped around from, say, apartment to apartment in the multi-residential side. Number 3, like I said, good areas, bad areas. Now you can do this as well. Every major city, in even smaller cities and towns, they have crime heat maps. You can basically plot out areas to see the rates of crime in a particular locale. But these property managers, they will be just an addition to that resource, and they'll help you out and tell you which areas are great, which areas are not so great. Lastly, for property managers, similar to real estate agents, they are great at introducing you to other trades. There's been a number of times that I've been introduced to plumbers, to heating guys, to landscapers through my property manager. And they know that if they have a long-term relationship with you, they want to refer people that they know will do a good job. So that's a key asset. So on property management, I will say this. The way I like to approach it is that if I have a deal in place, I will go to meet that property manager. I'll show him the deal I have in place. If you're worried and you want him to sign an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement, so that they don't go out and shop that deal, or say you have it, that's usually when I talk to them. And what's great about it is it's partly a job interview, because say you're buying a 30 unit, you sit down with them, they're gonna think, okay, here's an opportunity to win some business, and you don't have to commit to them. So, you can get that information from them and use it as part of your building your case for a property. But I'll just say, don't waste anybody's time. Nobody wants to be jerked around. So I never go in with the thought that I'm just gonna get information and get out of there. Usually it's a property that I'm looking to hire third property management with. I don't have one in place, and I use the locals. And usually it's 1 or 2, maybe 3 that I'll interview and have this type of conversation with. That's my tip on that. Okay, so that's my pre-deal team. That's your tax expert / accountant, CPA. Number 2 is your real estate agent. Number 3 is your lender, your mortgage broker. And then lastly, the sleeper, the property manager. I think those are the 4 essential team members that I like to have when I'm looking at deals in the pre-deal stage. And now, like I said in the beginning, there's a long list of team members when it comes to real estate. You're not alone in doing this. You want to build a good team over time, but those are the ones, bare bones. You want to have them on your side and be actively engaged with them. Lastly, what is on my mind this week? So I am addicted to these Pomodoro productivity planners. I will put a link to a video that I saw that got me, on this. I believe it started as a Kickstarter campaign. The idea was Pomodoros are 25-minute sprints of productivity. So if you have one thing you need to get done today, you set the time for 25 minutes, you put it in this productivity planner, which you'll see through that link. You can buy these on Amazon. I think I bought mine on Amazon. But basically it's 25-minute sprints of things that you're trying to get done. And then after that 25-minute, no matter what, you don't do a minute less than 25, it's 25 or nothing. After that 25 minutes, take a 5-minute break, regroup, do your thing, and you can move on to another task. Or you can do another Pomodoro, which is Italian for tomato, probably should have mentioned that, and you do another one. It's just great. Check out the link. You can see exactly how it's laid out in the planner. And what's cool is you don't even need the planner. I liked it because it's pretty. That's so I bought the book, but there's PDFs and you can check that out. So that's what's on my mind this week. Again, thanks everybody. If you like the channel, you want more videos, subscribe, leave a comment, hit the like button. And if there's any videos that specifically you want me to do, just comment below and I'll try to get those done. I try to do what I can on the commercial side when I'm contributing on the Bigger Pockets podcast, but this is anything that you guys want in addition to that, love to do for you. All right, signing out.